revelation time. You already have the system in your head as far as being a creator, a founder, or an entrepreneur. So this is about the prerequisite and the things that must come before you even think about systemizing your business. The great news is, like I said in the beginning, is that the system is already in your attic. All you got to do is dig up the gold and dump it out and put it on wax. So how do I define system? I define system as a components, little pieces that are working together to produce a certain outcome. What do I mean? An example of this could be like if I coach a team, a football team, the little parts that come together will be my players. The game plan will be my play. And how do I know and maximize each of those little parts that when they come together like a formation, they produce a play, a certain outcome. So that's how I define a system in my own words. So now I do have certain notes, and this is the first time that I'm ever taking this approach with notes. So just bear with me. I don't have slides. I don't have an editor right now. So you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm not editing the video. I'm not at that level yet. But I do have, it's funny because I do have systems for other entrepreneurs to maximize their game plan. So now that I define systems, let's go over what a system does. A system, in my words, a system amplifies what's already true. So, let me explain. A system amplifies what's already true because if the business is unclear, if the business is misaligned and emotionally scattered, systems will just help you get there faster. So, here are some internal and structural foundations that must be in place before the systems actually work. Clarity of vision. So, your vision, you have to be able to define it. Just like in Proverbs in the Bible, it says, I'm using some esoteric principles. It says, where there is no vision, the people will perish. So that goes for your team. You don't have a vision and it's not structured correctly, which means it's a system within itself. Your team will eventually collapse and they will perish. They will disappear. So you have to ask yourself these questions. This is the prerequisites developing a system. Most people on the internet are just talking about these are the systems. I also believe, let me make this clear, I also believe, especially using the J. Abraham style, where you take the infrastructure or system from another business and apply it to another one. I do believe in that style. And I believe that's one of the ways you can maximize your business. But you have to know what the business that you're creating, what is it really for? You won't be able to develop a system if you don't know what your business is for. there's no outcome. There's just the path of money. Of course, money is very important because that's how you keep your business rolling. But to sustain it and build a legacy off it, for it to be long term or longevity, you have to know what that business is really for. Also, you have to know what result you want and consistently produce, meaning a system with those components and those little parts that come together and produce an outcome. That system will always produce an outcome, the same outcome. Now, you can iterate it as you go, but the tactics, the actions that are performed within that system will have to be iterated in order to produce another outcome. But the system always produces the same outcome from that game plan, from that system. And you can also develop systems under systems under systems. I think I'll get to that later. Also, your identity has to be aligned, or the identity of the business. So this systems flow from who you are, not what you do. An example of this can be, I have a recipe for cooking. I give you that recipe 99% of the time. It won't taste the same because it comes from who I am, not what I do. You could follow the ingredients down to the T, but it won't taste the same. It'll be very similar. It just won't taste the same. It has to be some soul in it. You know, grandma put her foot in there, her hands and feet in there. She threw everything in there. The love, the soul. That's what made it taste a different way. So systems flow from who you are, not what you do. It's like what I said in the beginning. Systems amplify what's already true. I'm just reminding you, these are the prerequisites to a system and to developing the system for your business. Okay, we on to the next one. Prioritized outcomes. Okay, before we do that, an aligned identity is also, you could involve the factor of testing it on yourself. This comes from proven systems, or testing it on yourself first, or testing it with other businesses, or you offer that service and you test it and you get testimonials. Or one of the most important things for me is, like, if I don't recommend nothing unless I do it myself. So I guinea pig on myself. And these systems reveal who I truly am. And that's why I'm on this journey with these systems. And these systems really help me to hone in and focus in on my flaws and what I'm perfect at. So, do you test them on yourself? Did you test it on yourself, this system? Can you test it on yourself or other companies? Now, we on to the next one. Prioritized outcomes. You need to know what matters most in order to have a consistent outcome. I won't edit this video, but my cat is at the door and I can't let him in. He just wants to get some attention. But yeah, so you need to know what matters most in order to produce that consistent outcome. Does that result move the needle consistently? Is it going to protect, or what can it protect? Like automate, or multiply, or delegate. We'll get deeper into that a little later. So this is very important. This is a very important prerequisite. And I'll give you a gift in a little bit, but this is a very important component for a system, a prerequisite to a system. This is before you actually develop the system. I just want to keep on reminding you that most people do not talk about this on the internet. It's like you could give somebody a task. You could buy courses, or tell somebody to do something and they won't get it done. Why? Because you have to develop the internal structure to actually receive the information and take action on that information. And in order to take action on that information, you have to become someone first. So these are the prerequisites to developing a system that nobody talks about. This is very important. Rhythms before routines. What do I mean? You can't lock down a rigid system or routines until you understand your natural rhythm. Like, what natural cycles do you already follow? Meaning, one of my systems in the morning is I wake up, I journal, and this is to bring out or bring forth. It could be my fears, things I dislike, things I like in the morning. So I just gave you an example. This helps me throughout my day to unpack what was already predetermined or amplify what was already predetermined. Meaning I could come up to a title to one of my macro or long form YouTube videos just by journaling. So what I'm really telling you is, how do I feel about my day? When am I most energetic? So you could develop a chart about if you're mostly energetic in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night. Which of these times are you most creative? Then this goes into developing a template on what you can automate, what drains you, what gives you the most energy, what can you delegate, or what from your system or your daily routines can you eliminate because it doesn't move the needle forward. So I just want to get into I just want to also tell you about the little gift. I do have a little gift. You just got to go over to my Instagram account. I believe it's my last reel, and I did post. If you need more context on the prerequisite on developing the system, all you have to do is press more and read it. You could take notes. You can save it. I suggest you write it and take notes, because writing or reading, like what I do in the morning and I journal, writing or reading helps you think better. And once you develop the awareness or the capacity to understand that there's a certain way you should think, you could be able to develop a system. Like what I said in the beginning, You can't develop a system out of scattered thoughts or a poor nervous system. This can affect your nervous system. Like a question about your a nervous system can be, are you emotionally prepared to follow through with a system? Like I said in the beginning, again, if you don't have, not the beginning, the rhythm and routines, if you don't have a natural cycle that you do follow, it'll be hard for you to follow through on the system. So I don't want to go on a tangent, but that's a great tangent. So you also got to take into consideration that these rhythm and routines and natural cycles apply to seasons. You actually make a list of what matters most in this season, in these 3 months. What are you going to focus on that does move the needle in your business? So these are certain factors, but you could go over to my Instagram, click more, read it. I suggest you write it, because as you're writing, you're reading, and as you're reading, it's helping you think and visualize. And this is a form of imagination. No fluff. I don't want to go on a tangent. But these are the things people talk about, fluff. And in order, the fluff, I can't just give you the system, because there's so many markets, but I can give you what it takes to follow through with your system, and the capacity, and the structure to bring out these systems. So you should take notes. Write it down, save it, and I believe is a little more context on what it takes. It actually helped me a lot. I actually helped 3 clients with it. I said it in my past videos. So I'm just a one-man team right now, to be honest. My daughter helps me. I'll emphasize more on that later. My wife helps me. And I do have a system that I do incorporate them in, but I'm by myself. Ultimately, I'm by myself. So just bear with me, because it's the first time I ever took notes, and I'm not freestyling. So this is new to me as well. This is about being more practical, more structured, and more organized, and not go on tangents, unnecessary tangents, because I don't have the editor right now. So I could go into so many markets about systems that I do have, but these prerequisites are like foundational principles. So a system is also a set of foundational principles that produce an outcome. Those little components are principles, because it happens on the macro level. That's what a principle is. It doesn't just happen in one section. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere, macro to micro. That's what a set of principles is. So if you develop your values and your belief systems around a set of principles, you are already a walking system. You just have to dump it out on paper or however you do it and put it together, piece by piece. So now my process is, because that's another definition for it. It's a process, or processes. And it's I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible. So, like I said, you have to make a chart about what drains you, what gives you energy. How can you delegate, automate it? Ultimately, I just go off what drains me and what gives me energy. And I just delegate what drains me to somebody whose strength is what drains me. So it's creating an opportunity. I wouldn't call it a job. I'll say opportunity. So I create an opportunity for someone else, and I buy time. I just buy it. I just buy time that way, and it removes me from the day-to-day or the burnout result, because I do delegate, and I delegate it the right way by acknowledging or recognizing somebody else's strength. So that's another thing. You could take on systems, what people talk about. You could take on systems and apply them to you, but if you don't know who to delegate it to, then eventually that system will collapse. So that's why just understanding these principles, the prerequisites of what it takes to be a leader ultimately, and put things in place. So now what drains me, what takes my energy. As far as task, I prioritize them. We just talked about that. You make sure that the tasks that you are doing in your business, or this is also for personal development. So I like to make things infinite. It's not just for businesses. You are a business as well. So I see this for individuals as well. You have to develop systems instead of goals. Goals could be far-fetched. If you develop a system like infrastructure, little components, infrastructure could mean, it is where things go, what things do. Certain things go in the trash. You have to develop roads for things, and you'll be all right. So just work with me here. So then, after I develop that chart, what drains me, what gives me energy, I start the delegation process. As far as content, I'm gonna make it as simple as possible. As far as content, I wake up, make my script. After that comes a YouTube short, then LinkedIn posts. My LinkedIn is Henry Cordero, so you could actually go on LinkedIn and look me up. And I'm gonna be transparent. So just work with me right now. Develop a LinkedIn post, IG post, which leads into a reel, my TikTok, and then I'm actually orchestrating a newsletter with esoteric principles that every entrepreneur, every creator, every founder should need, because I always, like I said in the beginning, it's about who you are first. It's not what you do or what you say, it's who you are. So that newsletter, and then the X post with IG threads that goes back into a YouTube script. So I'll explain that. So I forgot about the email. So the email is also a guide. The email list is also a guide. That's how I did get my clients, two of them. So that's the system. That's my system. Oh, and that email eventually leads to clarity call, and that clarity call leads to them dropping their whole framework, and I give them a free audit. And we take it from there. And then a Loom video where I explain how to get this magnetic trust path that I have is more of a subconscious conversion. I don't want to go on a tangent or fully break that down. Those entrepreneurs know that language. They understand what I'm saying. So, in that little system of content, like I said, I could go into many markets, but I'm just talking about mine. Just mine. And I'm being transparent here. I'm talking about mine. I have a content velocity stack. This might be new to you, but oh man, I'm a creator, so I'm a gift giver. So this is where I have my daughter. She loves social media. So let me maximize her potential. So it's about narrative, energy lane. Meaning, this is something I came up with. So she won't just chop up the clip randomly. She looks at my video, studies my video, and she sees where the emotional resonance lays. Meaning, is it attention-based? Is it to get attention from my audience? Is it trust? Is it a lot of integrity and transparency? Is it authority-based? Or is it salesy, like a soft conversion? You get it? She puts it into certain categories. So that's a system. And then I might be like, nah, that's not good right now. Or it is. Or, yeah, and I fully trust her. So then I have the archetype of the platform, which is one person. When I say that I'm a one-person team, I do have my daughter, and we are actually in the process of seeing how the system works. So she also is involved in this, is the archetype of the platform, meaning where she tailors, it feels like, all right, she matches, she studies every platform and matches the unconscious archetype, and we give these archetypes names. These archetypes already are like, let's say, Instagram, X, email, LinkedIn, and these platforms have a certain archetype. And when you really study it, there is a zeitgeist in there, but it's a system. So it does carry a certain archetype. So you just have to learn that system. And she's actually in the process of learning every system. And tailors, so she directs the video into which platform. I'm not going on a tangent. I'm gonna just leave it at that. So my wife actually covers the feedback loop, where it's like a DM, is a DM gold mine session, where she looks and goes over comments, objections, things that, the audience said, questions, and to see what clients actually want. I know I'm giving away a lot because you could actually use these systems. I'm actually perfecting them, and getting them to the point where I need them to be. But let's not get off track. And then there's the what I call the gravity map. So I'm all about strategy is leverage, but philosophy is gravity. It's about magnetism, not really chasing. So the gravity map takes my audience to a page where they, like I emphasize, they do drop their framework, and I give them a free audit in the Notion page. And then it takes them to a page where I do have a Loom video explaining the magnetic trust path. I won't reveal that just yet, even though it's about revelation. It's funny. So that's how you have to have prerequisites. There's a prerequisite to a system. You can't just, it's not about what you do, it's who you are. So you got to ask yourself, are you or your team ready for a system like this? Does you or your team, this is a subconscious belief that can be a behavior that goes unnoticed. I'm all about the unknowns. I'll give you a tip before I go. Do you sabotage structure because you feel more comfortable in the chaos? It doesn't just have to be chaos, but you got to ask yourself that question. Do you sabotage structure, sabotage things due to structure because you feel more comfortable in the chaos? You like more of the randomality, if that's a word. It just became a word. Do you like just flowing frontiers all the time? Systems can get boring. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Systems can get boring, so it's up to you to just dial in and see what works and see what's moving the needle. Acknowledge people's strengths so you can delegate. These are systems. It's like a football team, like what I said. Yeah, I know if he's a fullback, I'm not gonna make him a wide receiver. Get it? You gotta know each individual part. And that's why me rocking solo with 2 other people, and they're part of my family, I get to see what really works and what doesn't, especially for myself. So I hope this was helpful. And just remember, let's keep it infinite.